everybody, and welcome to Storm Reads. And today I'm going to be doing the Rootin' Tootin' June on the Range tag. I was tagged by Sarah from the Bookish Knitter, and I believe the original creator was Steve Donahue. I will link both of their channels down below. So with that, we'll just get into the questions, and most of these really aren't book related or anything like that. They're just kind of, I guess, Western related. And so the first one is, away out west, have you ever been to the American West? Yes, I have. I live in kind of like the Midwest because I'm in like the middle of America, but I have been through Arizona, New Mexico, and California. I stayed with a great aunt in California for a couple of weeks, once when I was in my 20s, and that was my one and only time of really spending any time in California, and I'm good with that. So number 2 is a dry gulch. What's the smallest town you've ever visited, and how small is your town right now? Okay, so the smallest town that I've ever visited, I would have to say, would be Ritchie, Missouri, and it's just a couple towns away from me. It's got, at the time, it had 62 is their population. My aunts used to live there, and so I used to frequent there a lot whenever I was younger. And she don't live there anymore, so I haven't been to Ritchie in a long time, but yeah, you know, it was one of those places where you could just walk the town and have fun in it, and yeah, everybody knew everybody. And it used to be a really big, like, kind of a more of a boom town when the train used to go through, and they actually had the stations and stuff where they would stop and everything, and so it used to have a lot more people. But yeah, now it's just kind of a little town that's wasted away. The town that I live in is a small town. It's got maybe around 2,100 people, and yeah, so it's definitely not a town where everybody knows everybody, but it's a town where you know a lot of people. And we kind of live on the outskirts of the town, so out in the country and everything, so I don't know as many as, like, say my father did, who grew up hanging out in the town and all that stuff whenever he was young. I did not do that. And so number 3 is, where the buffalo roam, have you ever seen an American bison in person? Yes. Actually, I will post a picture here. I have picture proof that there are some buffalo bison, like maybe about 1.5 miles away from where I live. It's kind of funny because they're on a highway in this like little bitty field or whatever, but I don't know, there's probably about 6 or 7, and they have a new little baby calf, and it's so cute. Yeah, I don't know what he does with them, if he raises them to eat or what, but yeah, he has a few there, and it's interesting to go by there and to see them. I took the picture from my car. And it says, or what's the largest hoofed animal you've ever seen? Well, since I have seen the bison, that would probably be the largest that I've ever seen, besides all the cows that are around where I live. And it says, do you have evidence that you live near coyotes? We do live near coyotes. I don't have evidence. I tried to get evidence because those things howl, yap, or whatever it is almost every night and disturb my little pal Dresden. She does not like it. She thinks she's being the big bad protector, and she will run downstairs and bark at them. But every time I went to try to record the sound, they'd stop. So yeah, don't have recorded evidence, but I mean, we live out in the country, and yeah, we have coyotes. So number 4 is Old Doc Fry. What's your history with westerns, novels, TV, or movies? Okay. My history with westerns would be, I grew up knowing that my grandpa read westerns. He read Louis L'Amour and stuff like that, but I didn't read them. My dad loves watching westerns on TV, so I have watched a few westerns. I liked watching Hopalong Cassidy whenever I was a kid, and Lone Ranger, of course, and things like that. But yeah, I didn't really watch a whole lot, just maybe if Dad has Cowboys on. He watches Grit Channel. It has Cowboys on it all the time, and he might be in his room and I'm in the living room and I can hear his Cowboys, and sometimes I'll get a little bit invested on what's going on because I can hear it. But yeah, I don't really watch them just for fun or anything, just whatever he's watching. When it comes to actual books, actually this year is the first time I ever tried reading a Western. I always said I didn't like Westerns, but I mean, I didn't mind watching them on TV. I just never really tried a Western book. My first foray into Louis L'Amour, though, I don't quite consider a Western because it was the first book in the Sackett series, which I've always heard the Sackett, and I thought it was like a kind of popular Western because they got the TV movies. But evidently it doesn't get real Westerny until later on in the series, because the first one was more like a swashbuckling kind of adventure with sword fighting and stuff. So I don't really consider that one a Western, and so I did listen to, I think it's called Trail Mix, and it had 3 of his like shorter stories. That one, they were all narrated by Willie Nelson, which was kind of cool. And then the first story, which was more like a novella because it was a little bit longer, was also narrated by Johnny Cash, Chris Christopherson, and Waylon Jennings, so that was like really cool. And then the other 2 were really short stories that reminded me more of like those half-hour versions of Westerns that they had on TV, where the other one was more like the hour to hour and a half Western. So, but they were short. I did like the first one a lot more than I liked the other 2, but surprisingly, I thought they were okay, and I'm willing to try another Western, so we'll see. I am also, because, you know, I like my romances, reading some Western romances, which I know is not really considered Western, but it's my kind of Western. But at least I am trying the actual Westerns. Then number 5 is Diamond Little at the Rialto Saloon. What's your relationship with alcohol, and ever had a friendship with a bartender? I do not drink alcohol. I have tried it, didn't like the taste of it, didn't like how I felt, never had the urge to drink anymore, so I don't drink alcohol. And so therefore I'm not a friend with a bartender because I don't spend any time at the bar to be friends. So that's that one. Number 6, the City Slicker from Back East. What do you consider the best Western you've ever read? Well, considering the fact that I just now read my first like Westerns, I don't really have that best Western. I need to I need to watch some of these Rootin' Tootin' videos and see what other people's best Westerns are and maybe try one of those. But I'm gonna have to say the Trail Mix is the best one that I've read so far that's more like considered Western, even though I did like the first Sackett one, but I just, like I said, I didn't think it was like really a Western. Number 7 is The Man with the Badge. Have you ever been in charge of other people? What's the most authority you've ever handled, and would you be good at it? I have not really been in charge of people unless you consider being in charge of children in children's church. I don't want to be the man in charge. I've never been one that wants to tell others what to do, so I don't really care for that. I don't know if I would be good at it or not. I think I probably wouldn't be that good at it, which is why I'm okay with not being the person in charge. And number 8 is The Tombstone Kid. Have you ever fired a gun, been a gun aficionado, or been shot? I have shot a gun. I do live out in the country in Missouri, so yes, we've owned guns my whole entire life growing up. My grandparents had guns. My father has had guns, shotguns, rifles, pistols. We've had them all. We shoot target practice out here. We go to the gun range, and so yeah, we own guns. And I don't consider myself a gun aficionado, but I mean, I do know how to shoot one. And I've never been shot, thank goodness. And number 9, it ain't the bullet that gets you, it's the fall. How would you ideally like to cash in your chips? I'm kind of cowardly and I don't like pain that much, and so I'm going to say, you know, like I'm sure most people would like to just go to sleep and not wake up. I don't want it to be anything extravagant. I'm not the hero. I don't want to go out in a blaze of glory. I will if I have to, but I don't want to. And so number 10 is tag some owl hoots. And to be honest, I don't know anybody that's doing June on the Range besides the ones that have already done the tag. And so I'm not going to tag anybody, but I'm just going to say if you're watching this and you are participating in June on the Range, then feel free to do this and then let me know that you've done it, and then I can go and check it out. But yeah, I don't know anybody offhand that's doing this to tag. And so that is everything. So I hope you enjoyed this tag video. It was kind of fun. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye.